I woke up with my heart racing. The kind of racing that makes you check the room to make sure you're still real. The morning light felt different, warmer somehow, like it was trying to tell me something had shifted. I touched my lips without thinking, half expecting them to feel the same as always. They didn't. For a few seconds, I honestly believed it had all been a dream. But then the words came back to me, clear as day, spoken in a soft voice that didn't match the life I thought I knew. You matter. Before the story begins, if you enjoy heartfelt stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. It helps the channel grow and lets more people hear stories like this. You're watching Timeless Tales by Dora, and we're glad you're here. My name is Ethan Parker, and I'm a single dad living just outside Nashville, Tennessee. I don't have a dramatic backstory, no viral moment, no big break. Just a quiet life built around my 8-year-old son, Jack, and doing my best not to let him see how tired I am most days. Jack's mom passed away 3 years ago. Cancer doesn't care how good a person you are. Since then, it's been the two of us against the world. I work mornings stocking shelves at a local store and nights driving for a delivery app. Jack knows the routine by heart. Homework at the kitchen table, cereal for dinner more often than I'd like to admit, and bedtime stories even when my eyes are burning shut. Kindness for me had become something practical. Hold the door. Say thank you. Don't snap when you're exhausted. I believed in it, but I didn't expect it to change anything big. The day everything shifted started like any other. Jack had a school field trip, and I couldn't take the day off. I kissed his forehead, apologized for the 100th time, and promised I'd make it up to him. He smiled the way kids do when they're braver than their parents. That afternoon, I got a call from the school. Jack had tripped while getting off the bus. Nothing serious, they said, but he was shaken and asking for me. I left my shift early and caught the bus downtown, my stomach in knots. That's when I met him. The bus was crowded, the kind of crowded where everyone avoids eye contact. A man in a simple gray jacket stood up and offered me his seat when he saw me rubbing my temples. I tried to refuse, but he insisted with a gentle smile. I thanked him and sat down, still too worried to think much of it. A few stops later, the bus jerked hard. I lurched forward, biting my lips so sharply I tasted blood. I must have looked worse than I felt because the man leaned in, concern written all over his face. "Hey," he said softly. "Are you okay?" I nodded, embarrassed. "Just clumsy." He reached into his pocket and handed me a clean handkerchief. "Your lips still swollen," he said, almost like he knew me. Then he did something no stranger had done in years. He lightly touched my chin, just enough to steady my face, and looked me in the eyes. "You," he said. "You matter." It was such a small moment, but something about it cracked me open. My throat tightened, and I had to look away. Before I could say anything else, he got off at the next stop, disappearing into the crowd. I picked Jack up from school and carried his backpack home, still thinking about that stranger. That night after Jack fell asleep, I sat on the edge of my bed, replaying it all. The touch, the words, the feeling that someone had seen me, really seen me, for the first time in a long while. I woke up the next morning convinced it had been a dream. But my lip was still sore, and my heart felt lighter. A week later, everything made sense. Jack's school sent out a newsletter thanking a donor who had quietly paid off lunch debts, funded new books, and sponsored the field trip Jack went on. There was a photo attached, a man in a gray jacket smiling gently at the camera. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. It was him. I did what anyone would do. I Googled his name. Turns out he was a billionaire, self-made, known for keeping a low profile and funding small personal acts of kindness rather than big flashy donations. He rarely gave interviews. When he did, he talked about seeing people, not numbers. I laughed out loud, a tired, disbelieving laugh. Of all the people on that bus, of all the moments in his life, he chose to sit next to me. For days, I wondered why. Why me? Why that moment? Then something strange happened. I started acting differently. When a coworker snapped at me, I didn't snap back. When a customer was short on change, I covered it without thinking. I started volunteering one afternoon a week at Jack's school, reading to kids whose parents couldn't make it. It wasn't about money. I didn't have any extra. It was about attention, about care. Jack noticed, too. "You smile more now, Dad," he said one night, curled up beside me. Did something good happen? I thought about the man on the bus, about his hand on my chin, about the way he spoke like my life had weight. "Yeah," I said softly. "Something good did." Months later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a handwritten note. Kindness grows when it's passed on. You're doing great. Keep going. There was no signature, but I didn't need one. Life didn't suddenly become easy. Bills still came. Work was still tiring. Grief still showed up when I least expected it. But something fundamental had changed. I wasn't invisible anymore. At least not to myself. I started teaching Jack that kindness isn't about being rich or powerful. It's about noticing. About choosing to care even when you're tired. Especially when you're tired. Sometimes I think back to that morning, waking up and touching my lips, wondering if it was all a dream. In a way, it was. But it was also real in the only way that matters. One small act, one gentle moment, one reminder that changed the way I see the world. And if a single dad on a crowded bus can be reminded that he matters, then maybe there's hope for all of us. Maybe kindness doesn't need a spotlight. Maybe it just needs a willing heart. So, if you're watching this and feeling unseen, let me tell you what someone once told me. You matter. And the kindness you give, no matter how small, might just change a life.